Hello everyone and welcome to Arvind Upadhyay show. In this episode, I am going to talk about common startup mistakes and how to avoid them. Startup seems like a super abundant and perhaps they are but startups are prone to make startup mistakes. The harsh reality is that 90% of startups fail, and when one bites the dust, there is another one ready to capture the attention of the investor and customer alike. So with this bleak success rate come up the plethora hard lessons learned that take advantage of the startup that have come before you and let their startup mistakes show you what you don't need to do. Here are the some of the most common startup mistakes and how to avoid them. First one is spending money. So spending lots of the money is not a good thing. Spending money on the wrong things instead of the investing in talent, benefit for the said talent like and competitive healthcare plans and tools that can help track analytics, manage project and jumpstart collaboration. Many businesses make one of the most common mistakes is spending money on the fancy office spaces and cool swag. So before committing to the workspace with all the bells and whistles, especially given the known preference by the majority of the workers, consider the benefit of the remote work. Especially for the first few years of the operation, many jobs seekers see this as an initiative and you can reallocate some of that seed money for things that can better enhance your product and your service. Second one is rushing through the hiring and onboarding process. The second of the startup mistake involve time or the lack thereof. We know that the beginning there is so much to do and so little time. If you are running your own startup, you are wearing all of the hats and you are probably more than ready to take a few up. So when funding come through, if you feel like a recruiting region gone wild. So, but try to be mindful and ensure you are putting the appropriate time up front when it's come to staffing and consider factor like a cognitive diversity, company culture, skills, labor, and overall willingness to learn something new every time. Okay, so in the startup world, it is most uncommon for the new hires that new what is uncommon that is the starting on the day one without a plan. So without a schedule and sometime when without a desk they don't know who to meet and where to start. The easy thing is to say them that figure it out that why we hired you, but that is not always the best mentality. Spending some time creating an onboarding checklist including the names of the people the new hire should meet can easily help jumpstart their first few weeks. And the more they learn in the beginning, the better equipped they will be to start working in the productive way. Third one is acting without planning. So one of the great thing about the startup is that mm, you are rarely start by red tap and the pure accuracy and accuracy for the big business. That being said, can be useful. An audit and competitive analysis of your overall business sector will be provide you with a basic of the work of and next like years. Take time to identify and access your competition, make a business plan and make a marketing plan. These all are the critical components that should not be overlooked but often are skipped over. Creating these habits now will also help when you are have not already received venture capitalist funding. Investor owned tolerate plan, less decision and projection. There are the money and reputation are on the line, so get ahead while you can. Fourth one is operating without a style guide and a brand persona. So you may think you know who you are, but have you put those thoughts down on paper? What do you care about? What are your values? What do you speak to your customer? And answer these questions upfront and share. them out with every single member of your team. This will help keep messaging consistent and individuals mission oriented. Establish your employer brand too, and who are you as a company? What is your culture? Use your finding to create an employee's handbook, which will help enhance the onboarding process. Fifth one is being afraid to test and learn. When your business is new, everything is try to new. Not everything will work out, but you can be afraid to try more new things. Being agile and able to pivot shows strength and can benefit your businesses much more than stitching with a plan that has only proven itself to fail. Sixth one is a partnering with the wrong investors. So investors calls pitches call them what you will. Just be sure that to remember that the conversation goes both ways. Sure, you want to investment, but don't let the money blind you or force you into concentrating your vision if that make you uncomfortable. So being selective now may benefit you in the long run. Of course, it can be difficult to turn down interest of your company as you are considering your options. Start networking, find out what the community think of certain funds, and use that knowledge to lose relationship to your advantage. Giving too little or too much power to the customer can eat you alive. So bad review on social media, social post can go viral, and it can damage your business in both short and long term base. Consumers are the important, that is fact, but don't let them scare or bully you on the point where you are compromised. In the hostile public customer interaction, work to the guest the issue offline and private. Eight one is a getting too big too fast. So growth is given for startups. If you are going to be successful, you need to good people, but ensure you are hiring talent and not just bodies. Invest in creating detailed job description so you get the better candidate aligned for the kind of work you need to be done. Create a early growth plan and have ideas of the roles you need to fill, and when ultimately focus on your quality and perfecting your team, not just building a bigger one. Ninth one is not considering your employer brand impact. We mentioned earlier that you should define your employer brand and communicate it with your team. However, you need to make sure that you don't forget about it yourself, your company, your brand. One of the common startup mistake is to lose the sight of who you are as a company and what you mean to be internal staff when you are focused on external perception. Tenth one is a forgetting why you got into the business in the first place, whether investors are forcing your attention one way or the your own ambitions and pushing you in the another. Remember why you wanted to get started your startup and what was your main aim and vision with your startup. So check with yourself and your stop to ensure you are still driving that good direction you have planned. So this was all about the mistakes you can make at the startup entrepreneur.